What if the greatest story ever hidden was written between the lines of the most read book in history? What if, before the great flood that washed away civilization, Earth was ruled by beings neither fully human nor fully divine, creatures of extraordinary power, beauty, and terrible hunger, beings that ancient texts call the Nephilim? Their existence is mentioned in mere whispers throughout Scripture, forgotten giants erased from history, yet their shadow still lingers over all creation. Tonight, we unveil the ancient mystery that theologians dare not speak of, the forbidden chapter of Genesis that explains why God had to cleanse the earth with water in the beginning when humans began to multiply across the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them. There existed an age now lost to memory, a time before judgment mentioned in just a few verses, yet feared for casting a shadow over all creation. Genesis 6:4 tells us, "There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came in to the daughters of men, and they bore children to them." But who were these sons of God? What were these giants? And why has their story been buried beneath centuries of silence? To understand, we must journey back to the days of Jared, ancestor of Noah, when something profound and terrible occurred in the heavens. The ancient Hebrew texts speak of the Watchers, powerful celestial beings originally sent by the Creator to watch over mankind. But as they gazed upon the daughters of earth, desire kindled in their immortal hearts. Their leader, Samyaza, gathered 200 others on Mount Hermon, where they made a fateful oath that would forever alter the cosmic order. "I fear I will be the only one to do this," Samyaza hesitated. "That you will leave me to bear the blame alone." But the others replied in unison, "Let us all swear and bind ourselves with a mutual oath. We will not turn back." So they descended. The ground trembled as their radiant forms touched earth. Mortal men stood in awe, for they were unlike any creatures known to them. The Watchers took human wives, shared the secrets of heaven, and from these unions came children unlike any born before. They were creatures of extraordinary stature and strength, the Nephilim, not fully angel, not fully human, but something else entirely. The mighty ones of old, men of renown. The Book of Enoch, though excluded from most biblical canons, provides our most detailed account of this forgotten age. Preserved by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church and discovered among the Dead Sea Scrolls, it reveals what mainstream religion has long concealed. Enoch tells us the Watchers began to teach humanity secrets previously hidden. Azazel taught men to forge weapons, swords, shields, and armor. He taught women the art of adornment, jewelry, and cosmetics to enhance their beauty. Other fallen angels taught astronomy, astrology, the signs of the heavens. Some taught sorcery, the use of roots and herbs for magic, knowledge that was never intended for mortal minds. As these celestial secrets spread among humanity, corruption followed. The Nephilim, with their superhuman appetites, first consumed the fruits of the earth. Then they turned against animals. Finally, their hunger began so insatiable that they began to devour mankind itself. The Midrashic texts describe how the Nephilim became lords of tribes, gods among mortals. Their voices roared like thunder, mountains trembled beneath their feet, blood flowed in rivers, and corruption spread faster than wind. Nature itself began to protest. Skies darkened. Birds migrated without direction. The ground exhaled a bitter odor. Creation recognized something was profoundly spiritually wrong. The Book of Jubilees speaks of how the pure lineages became contaminated. Strange, deformed creatures emerged, impure mixtures between species. The divine order of creation was being unmade. And then, the scriptures tell us, God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. The Creator's patience had reached its limit. Amidst this chaos, one man still walked with God, a prophet forgotten by the world, but known in heaven. His name was Enoch, seventh from Adam. He emerged in silence amidst cities dominated by Nephilim and spoke words that echoed through valleys and mountains. You, sons of heaven, have left the highest heavens and defiled the earth. The Most High will judge you. The mountains will not hide your guilt, nor will the abyss shelter you. There will come a day when waters will cover everything. Few listened, most mocked, but heaven was preparing. The ancient texts tell us 4 archangels were summoned before the throne of the Almighty: Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel. Each received a sacred mission to execute divine judgment. Michael would confront the watchers. Raphael would bind them in darkness. Gabriel would incite war among the Nephilim, so they would destroy each other. And Uriel would announce final judgment to mankind. Meanwhile, in a world consumed by corruption, one righteous man received a different message. A simple man, not of giant stature, without human glory, but with a pure heart and eyes turned toward heaven. His name was Noah. The end of all flesh has come before me, God told Noah. For the earth is filled with violence through them. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Noah's face turned pale, but he didn't argue. He simply nodded and began working. While the watchers celebrated in their stone palaces and the Nephilim engaged in bloody tournaments, Noah built. Day after day the ark took shape. 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, 30 cubits high. A floating fortress constructed with faith and sweat. People mocked. Noah, where is your God now? Why build such a huge box? Do you plan to navigate the desert? But Noah didn't answer. He simply continued. When the ark was complete, Noah entered with his family. The door was sealed, not by human hands, but by the hand of God. Then it began. Dark clouds formed walls in the sky. Lightning tore the firmament with fury. The fountains of the great deep burst forth, and the windows of heaven opened. Water gushed violently from the depths. From the skies, heavy rains fell like blades. The Nephilim, proud as they were, did not understand at first. Some laughed, others became annoyed. They climbed the highest hills and tallest towers, trusting in their strength and stature. But the waters did not respect height. They rose relentlessly. Gilgamesh, one of the greatest among the giants, roared against the sky. "O you who are in the heights! Is this your revenge for us having loved?" But the sky did not respond. Thunder was its only reply. For 40 days and 40 nights, judgment reigned from heaven. The highest mountains were covered. No flesh survived outside the ark. In the submerged world, all was silence. The earth had been washed with the tears of judgment. The ark floated over the abyss. Nothing remained of the empires of the Nephilim. No tower, no altar, no statue. The memory of the giants would be buried in the mud of history. Or so it seemed. The waters receded. Noah and his family emerged to a cleansed world. God set his bow in the clouds, a promise never again to destroy the earth by flood. Generations were born and multiplied, entire peoples emerged from the sons of Noah. The earth continued under the sign of the covenant. But in the silence of the newly born lands, echoes of the past still whispered. Among the descendants of Ham, ancient stories began to be heard. Legends of giant men, tales of creatures with immense strength that somehow had survived the great destruction or returned through a tainted heritage. The scriptures do not reveal how, but they emerged again, not with the same titanic splendor, but still impressive and threatening. Peoples like the Anakim, the Rephaim, the Emim, and the Zamzumim began to occupy territories, their bodies larger, their shouts deeper, their swords heavy as tree trunks. The lineage of the Nephilim seemed to have left traces, seeds mixed among men. Centuries passed. The children of Israel, led by Moses and then Joshua, marched toward the promised land. But before taking possession, they had to face them. The remnants of the Nephilim waited. When the 12 spies were sent to examine Canaan, 10 returned with hearts filled with fear. The land is good, but the men who inhabit it are of great stature. We saw the sons of Anak there, descendants of giants. To our own eyes we seemed like grasshoppers. Cities fell, the giants of Bashan were defeated, but one final confrontation would become legendary. Among the Philistines arose Goliath, champion of Gath, a man nearly 3 meters tall, gleaming in bronze armor with arrogance in his eyes. For 40 days he challenged Israel before the valley of Elah. "Choose a man from among you to come against me." And Israel was silent. Not even King Saul dared to face him. But then, from among the flocks, emerged a young man with a staff and 5 smooth stones. His name was David. "Am I a dog that you come to me with sticks?" the giant mocked. But David did not retreat. His eyes did not see the armor nor the size. His eyes saw only the outrage against the Holy One of Israel. "You come to me with sword, spear, and shield," David declared. "But I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied." The stone flew, a short whistle, a dry impact, and Goliath fell. Like a tree rotted by pride, he collapsed face down upon the ground. The ancient terror crumbled before faith. Under David's reign, the last generation of giants would fall. One by one, the remnants of that forbidden lineage were eliminated from the earth. The memory of the Nephilim crosses continents and cultures, from the Andes to the Himalayas, from Hebrew texts to Babylonian myths. All speak of a flood and of giant beings that preceded destruction. What are we to make of these ancient echoes? Perhaps the story of the Nephilim serves as more than historical account. It stands as eternal warning. When heaven and earth transgress their boundaries, when knowledge outpaces wisdom, when appetite consumes without restraint, judgment follows. Yet the most profound truth may lie in how the giants were ultimately defeated, not by strength matching strength, not by power confronting power, but by faith. The warriors who killed the last of the Rephaim were not titans nor sons of angels. They were ordinary men and women, but each carried something the giants never possessed: the presence of the living God. Perhaps today, as we face our own giants, whether physical enemies or spiritual darkness, the ancient lesson remains. It is not strength that defeats giants, it is faith. What giants do you face in your life? And will you face them with the weapons of this world or with something greater? The ancient story of the Nephilim reminds us that between heaven and earth lies mystery. Between spirit and flesh lies temptation. Between judgment and mercy lies grace. And in the silence after the storm, when the waters have receded and the rainbow shines, hope remains even when darkness returns.